The creators of South Park just launched a napalm bomb on Hollywood, particularly Disney, with their latest special on the Paramount TV network called Joining the Panderverse. And the Panderverse is an excellent description of this particular 48-minute episode. I don't recommend you watching it if you have sensibilities when it comes to vulgar language and vulgar content, because it is pretty crass. However, I'm talking about it here on this channel because social commentary is something that's very, very important to me, particularly when it comes to comedy. Dave Chappelle did a show a few years ago called Sticks and Stones, where he went after the LGBTQ community, and this was put this way, it was the hypocrisy within that particular culture and how things aren't looked at equally amongst certain classes. And these classes are what I call, and what many people call, protected classes. And if you're in a protected class, you're good to go. If you're not, you're not. And the problem is, typically, there's only one unprotected class. That's pretty much white Christian men. That's just how it is. And so what happens is, people like Kathleen Kennedy, who is in charge of Lucasfilm, also under Disney, the president of Disney is Bob Iger. These two people, Bob Iger and Kathleen Kennedy, are identified by name in this particular special from South Park. And what they do is, they talk about how Disney, particularly Kathleen Kennedy, her vision was to remake Star Wars and even Indiana Jones into something that it wasn't founded to be. If you go back and look at Disney buying Star Wars, they were a company built by George Lucas who created a product that identified mainly to young boys. Young boys were the ones who were primarily Star Wars fans, Indiana Jones fans, but there were a fair amount of girls who liked it too, just not a majority. But for some reason, Kathleen Kennedy said, you know what, that's not good enough. We have to change the narrative here. We want to make sure that the Force is female. So she's going to take this whole paradigm that was pointed at boys as the main draw and try and flip that and make girls be the ones interested in this. And to do that, her idea was to replace old traditional characters like Luke Skywalker, Han Solo, and Indiana Jones, all white men, and replace them, dumb them down, embarrass them, humiliate them, whatever it takes to put them out of the way, and then bring in another diverse character. And this particular episode of South Park tries to put that front and center and totally embarrass Disney, Lucasfilm, Hollywood in general by saying, look, this is dumb. We're tired of it. And so right here, we see a picture here. That's Cartman. In the beginning of the special, Cartman, who's this kid, a white kid, he has a dream that he's been replaced by a black female. But what ends up happening is that he's actually in a multiverse, which means that there's a parallel universe where everyone white is replaced by somebody of a quote-unquote diversity class. In this case, he is a black female. And so from there, hilarity ensues. And I won't go through the entire plot line, but the point is that it's the same thing going on with Hollywood. You'll see Superman, you'll see Spider-Man, you'll see Batman eventually. You'll see all these characters, James Bond, they're trying to do him as well. Replace these characters with someone of diversity for the reasons I mentioned before. And the problem is, people are tired of it. It's embarrassing. It doesn't add anything to the storyline. You're sacrificing plot development with a woke leftist narrative. And that is something that the fans just don't want. Why is that? Are they racist? No, they want good stories. So let me give you an example. If I have a story and the main character is a black female and we're in this world where everything must be black female positive, you know as a viewer that there's no way in the world that that person is going to be a bad character or have anything going on negatively in her life, because the agenda is to promote black females, not to progress the story. That's the problem. When you sacrifice story for a social agenda, fans see through it, they get bored, and they get resentful, and they stop watching. If you look at Disney right now, their last 10 or so movies have collectively lost close to $1 billion. In fact, they have a film coming out in a few weeks called Marvels. It is the next installment of the MCU, which is the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It's going to be a flop more than likely because, again, you look at the poster, it reeks of this multiculturalism, second class pushing forth agenda, which people are absolutely tired of. Another funny subplot in this particular episode is the fact that people today seem to not know how to do anything, and that the people who can fix things are the new oligarchs or the new power brokers in the world because no one can do anything. They can't fix the door on the sink or anything. And so it's totally hilarious. And also there's another subplot there dealing with AI or artificial intelligence, saying that, hey guys, look, why go to college? Because all I have to do is go to ChatGPT and look it up, and I pretty much have everything I would have learned in college right there for me, essentially for free. And so overall, this particular episode was really, really good. It was, again, it has its negatives in terms of its crassness. However, the commentary or the truth that comes behind this is something that could actually be impactful in society, because from now on, when people see the latest TV show, when we know, obviously, this is nothing but a Mary Sue or a woman who's just there because she's a woman, or any other forced diversity casting, people are going to know right off, this is bunk. We saw it on South Park. They called them out, and it is just shining a light in such a way that it's going to make, I hope, other producers in Hollywood think twice about their casting and focus mainly on stories, their arches, and development, so we can finally get back to some sort of sanity. If you look at Disney in general, they've really fallen off the deep end in their movies, in their theme parks, in their distribution with merchandising. No one's buying toys anymore. You see all kinds of things happening. People are mad at Disney. And to me, the funniest thing about this whole episode was the depiction of Kathleen Kennedy, how she had one agenda and one agenda only. And I won't say it here, but when you see it, it is extremely hilarious. And the thing is when we see this going forward from now on in Disney Plus or anywhere in Hollywood for that matter, we're going to look back on this particular episode of South Park and be like, yep, you guys did us a huge service because you shined the light on what they're trying to do and why they're trying to do it. So hopefully, if the hundreds of millions of dollars that Hollywood is losing, if that doesn't do the trick, maybe shining a light in this way will.